Hey, 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 good looking. Want to see what we have cooking today in my kitchen? Well, grab a hold of that vine and swing onto my kitchen and let's get cooking. Good looking. Today, I'm going to sit there and show you how we're going to sit there and make bacon jam. So let's go ahead and let's get started. So grab a hold of that vine and swing onto that kitchen because I'm cooking. Good looking. Well, hey there, good looking. I'm so glad you want to learn how to make some bacon jam. So I have 3 pounds of chopped up bacon. Now I'm going to sit there and take my cast iron pan and I'm going to place it on my stove. Okay, and let's talk about the rest of the ingredients that we're going to be needing for our bacon jam. You're going to be needing some maple syrup. You're going to be needing some, I have Crown Royal, and it's the maple flavored. And, well, that's optional. You can leave it out if you want to, but Pleasure Lady says, put it in there. You'll be glad you did. You're going to be needing some hot sauce. Back here I have apple cider vinegar, I have some molasses, I have some coffee, and last we have some sugar. And we're also going to need some onions, and if you don't have the onions because you went ahead and you caramelized them all up and you canned them just like I did, well, I had to whip out a jar of my caramelized onions because why? Well, I used them all and I caramelized them all up for this grilling and chilling season, so I don't have to sit there and do a lot of sitting there fussing and mussing in the kitchen. I can sit there and be enjoying myself by having a drink and socializing. And we're also going to be needing some coffee. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to chop up all that bacon and we'll be back. Here, I have it over at my stove and I'm frying it all up. Now, we do not want to sit there and cook this all the way up. We are only par cooking it. And as you see, it's still cooking down. Alright, now I'm just going to sit there and take my spider, the bacon, and I'm going to place it onto a paper plate that I have lined up with paper toweling, and we're going to drain the bacon. I took the bacon out, and as you see, it's not cooked up all the way, like I told you. Par cook it. Now, I have a canning jar here with my canning funnel. I'm going to go over to the hot pan that I fried the bacon all up in, and I'm going to pour all the bacon grease off, and we're going to pour it all into this canning jar here. Now, if you're going to be using the onions that the recipe calls for and you need to caramelize them up, but because I used all my onions up to make my caramelized onions here, I don't have to go ahead and do this next step, but you would sit there and take your chopped onions and put it into 1 tablespoon of the reserved hot bacon grease, and we would sit there and go ahead and cook up the onions. But like I said, I don't have any onions because I used all mine up for the recipe that I used prior to this canning recipe, so I don't have any, but I'm gonna sit there and use my 1 jar of the canned caramelized onions. Here's all the hot bacon grease that we drained out of the pan, and now I'm going to go ahead and we're going to put the par cooked bacon back into the pan along with my 1 jar of caramelized onions, or you would have the equivalency of 3 chopped up onions going into the reserved hot bacon grease. I put the bacon back into our fry pan. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just open up my can of caramelized onions and I'm going to roughly chop these up if I have to. It doesn't look like I have to because it looks like they're pretty chopped up. Oh, this is going to be hard, folks. I could just go right into this right here, and I could eat this whole jar of caramelized onions up. Oh, okay. There's my caramelized onions. Let's go ahead and stir that all up. We stirred in the caramelized onions, and now we add the coffee. And that would have been 1.5 cups of coffee because we used the 3 pounds of bacon. We have 1.5 cups of apple cider vinegar. Go ahead and add that. Six tablespoons of molasses. 1.5 cups of sugar. 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. 2 teaspoons of the hot sauce. Now, let's stir this all up. Now, we're going to sit there and take this over to the stove. We're going to bring this up to a boil, and we're going to boil it approximately 15 minutes. As you see, it's just starting to come up to a boil, but we want a full rolling boil. And then when it does come up to a full rolling boil, you want to sit there and cook it for 15 minutes or until the sauce gets thickened up. Alright, my sauce has thickened up and the 15 minutes are up. So I'm going to sit there and remove this from the stove, and I'll meet you back over at the counter. Alright, I'm back over here at the counter, and now if you don't want to sit there and add any whiskey into your bacon jam, don't. You don't have to. I just think it's tastes a little bit better. My husband likes it. In fact, when my husband came in through the doors and he smelt that the bacon jam here was making, he was happy as a lark, knowing that he's gonna sit there and have a whole bunch of goodness to put on a whole bunch of goodies that we're gonna be grilling out this summer. So, like I said, if you don't want the Crown Royal in yours, don't add it. Sometimes I add Jack in it, but this one I'm making for my husband, and my husband is a Crown Royal person. Now, if I was making it personally for me, I'd make it with the Jack Daniels. Now, like I said, this part is optional, but you would add 3 tablespoons of your choice of whiskey. Like I said, you can either have Crown Royal, as how my husband likes his, or I like mine Jack Daniels. but I'm making this for my husband, and I don't mind eating it with his Crown Royal in it. So I'll have it either way, because, oh baby, this is some good jam. Okay, maybe we're not going to have it the Crown Royal way. Maybe we're going to be having it my way, the Jack Daniels way. I can't open that up. The arthritis in my hand is way too bad. So I know my Jack Daniels is easy to get to. So this is going to be Jack Daniels bacon jam. Yeah. So 3 tablespoons. Okay, now I'm just going to sit there and mix this all up. So I'll be back as soon as I'm all done, because the camera is right here before me and it's really hard to get in there to stir it. Now I'm going to give it a taste test before it goes into the jars.
Heavy. Robins.
Okay, I'm gonna sit there and be filling up these 4-ounce jars, because that should be perfect for my husband and myself. I have to go grab my debubbler. Go ahead, debubble, and you're gonna want about 1 inch head space. And now I have a paper toweling that I went ahead and I dipped into vinegar. Let me pan down a little bit to make sure that the canning jar is in full view. Okay, now go ahead, grab a canning lid and a canning ring, place them on, and finger tighten. And now we're gonna sit there and put these in the pressure cooker, and we're gonna process these at 10 pounds of pressure for 90 minutes. This is gonna pop. First, we're gonna sit there and vent for 10 minutes out of the little peacock hole here. After the 10 minutes, we're gonna sit there, put our weight then on, and we're gonna bring it up to 10 pounds of pressure and process for 90 minutes. Put our lid on, lock it into place. Alright, as you see, our little thing here has popped up. I'm hoping you're seeing the steam that is coming out back here. Well, anyways, I'm hoping the steam's being picked up on the camera, but it's right here. Alright, this has vented out for the 10 minutes. Now it's time for me to put the weight on, and now we're going to sit there and build up pressure to 10 pounds. And then when it reaches the 10 pounds and we can maintain the 10 pounds, and then process that bacon jam for 90 minutes. Alright, now I'm going to sit there and turn down my heat, and it's going to maintain, because I know the sweet spot. And if you've been canning for a while, you're going to know what to turn your stove to be the sweet spot. And it's going to maintain the pressure, and you know you're at the proper pressure when you hear this little thing doing that little. Time it for 90 minutes. Alright, the timer went off. I already had shut the burner off, and I'm letting it all come down naturally. And then when it's all back down to 0, we're going to sit there and open up our pressure cooker, and make sure when you are opening it, we open it away from ourselves. And there you go. That's how easy it was to make the bacon jam. Now, as you see, it gave me 9 4-ounce jelly jars full. And like I said, this is great for just my husband and myself. And if you liked what you saw here today, give me a big old thumbs up. And if you're a new subscriber, welcome to my channel. And if you're not a subscriber yet, go up above, tap that subscribe button, tap that little bell. That way you'll always be notified every time I do put out a new video. And most of all, thank you for taking the time to watch my video here. And y'all come back now. You hear?